It was Monday morning, and the school hallway was full of noise. Students laughed, ran, and talked loudly as they moved to their classes. Backpacks bounced on shoulders. Lockers slammed shut. Nothing seemed different until a new face walked through the front door. His name was Jaden. He was tall, dark-skinned, and quiet. He wore an old hoodie and jeans, and he held a small black notebook in one hand. His shoes were worn, and his eyes looked tired but focused. He didn't say anything. He just looked around slowly like he was watching everything carefully. Nobody knew him. He was the new black boy in school, and in just a few seconds, people began to notice. Some students whispered as he passed by. "Who's that?" one boy said. "His. Clothes look so cheap." Another girl laughed. "Probably some weird kid from the city," a third student added. Jaden heard everything, but he didn't react. He kept walking calmly down the hall. His face didn't change. His body didn't move faster. He just walked like he was on his own path. But that calm made some people uncomfortable, especially one boy named Tyler. Tyler was tall, loud, and always surrounded by friends. He was the kind of guy who thought he ruled the school. He liked attention. He liked control. And more than anything, he liked to laugh at others. When Tyler saw Jaden for the first time, he smirked. "Who let that guy in?" Tyler said loudly, nudging his friend Ben beside him. "Looks like he came from a time machine." His group of friends laughed, too loud on purpose. They made sure Jaden could hear it. But Jaden didn't stop. He kept walking. He didn't even look their way. That made Tyler pause. He expected Jaden to get nervous or scared. Instead, Jaden walked like he didn't even see them. "Okay, so he thinks he's tough," Tyler muttered. "Let's see how long that lasts." From the corner of the hallway, a girl named Mia stood watching everything. She was quiet, smart, and usually stayed away from drama. But she noticed things others didn't. She watched Jaden carefully, the way he walked, the notebook in, his hand, the silence in his eyes. She felt something different about him. Not fear, not sadness, but strength. Teachers passed by and saw the way Tyler and his friends looked at Jaden. They heard the whispers, but none of them said anything. They had seen this before. And like before, they turned away and kept walking. Jaden finally reached his locker. It was in the far corner of the hall, near the windows. He opened it slowly, put his notebook inside, and took out a pencil. He was still calm, still silent. That's when Tyler walked over. "Hey, new kid," he said, standing too close. "You deaf or just rude?" Jaden turned his head and looked at Tyler. For a moment, they just stared at each other. No words, no fear, just quiet. "I don't talk much," Jaden said finally. His voice was soft, but there was something strong behind it. Tyler laughed. "Oh, so you can talk. Thought you were mute or something." Jaden didn't respond. He turned back to his locker and closed it gently. That simple move, just turning away, made Tyler clench his jaw. No one ever turned their back on him. "You better learn how things work around here," Tyler warned. Still, Jaden said nothing. He walked away as the bell rang for class. From across the hallway, Mia leaned toward her friend Emma and whispered, something under her breath. "They have no idea who he really is." Emma looked confused. "What do you mean?" Mia didn't answer. She just kept watching Jaden as he disappeared into the classroom. Inside the class, the teacher introduced Jaden to everyone. "This is Jaden Brown. He's just transferred. Here, let's make him feel welcome." Nobody clapped. Jaden gave a small nod and sat at the back of the class, alone. As the teacher began to write on the board, Jaden took out his notebook again. He opened it carefully and began to write something down. Nobody could see what it was. Tyler, sitting 2 rows ahead, turned halfway in his seat to glare at Jaden. But Jaden wasn't looking at him. He was busy writing something, slowly, carefully. like it really mattered. That made Tyler even angrier. This new kid wasn't scared. He wasn't even trying to be liked. He was just different. Something about that scared Tyler more than he wanted to admit. The next few days passed slowly. Jaden didn't speak much. He came to school quietly, sat at the back of every classroom, and kept to himself. He always carried that little black notebook. And sometimes he would stop in the hallway, look around, and write something inside it. No one knew what he was writing, but every time he wrote, his eyes looked serious, like he was remembering something important. The other students kept whispering. Some laughed, some stayed away, some tried to figure him out. But the group that stayed the loudest was Tyler's. Tyler hated being ignored. And Jaden had done exactly that, ignored his jokes, his bullying, and even his threats. It made Tyler feel weak, and he didn't like that feeling. One morning before class, Tyler walked over to Jaden's desk. "You think you're better than us?" he asked loudly so everyone could hear. Jaden didn't even look up. He was drawing something in his notebook. "I'm not here to be better," Jaden said calmly. "I'm just here." The whole class got quiet. Tyler leaned in closer. "Keep talking like that, and you won't be here much longer." Still, Jaden didn't react. He just turned the page and continued drawing. That made Tyler clench his fists. He wanted to say more, do more. But something about Jaden's silence made him feel unsure. As the teacher entered the room, Tyler backed off and went to his seat. But he was not done. During lunch, Tyler's plan began. He and his friends followed. Jaden outside to the back of the school where students like to eat in the sun. They waited until he was alone. Then they started with small things. "Nice shoes," one of Tyler's friends said, laughing. "Did you get them from the trash?" Another kicked Jaden's bag, making it fall. Still, Jaden said nothing. He picked up his bag, brushed it off, and sat on the grass alone. Mia saw it happen from a distance. She was sitting under a tree with her book. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. She had been bullied before, too. She knew how it felt. To be watched, laughed at, hurt, and how much worse it felt when no one stood up for you. She walked over slowly and sat a few feet away from Jaden. "You okay?" she asked. Jaden looked at her, surprised. "Yeah," he said. "It's just noise. Doesn't bother me." "But it should," Mia said. "They shouldn't get away with this." Jaden gave her a small smile. "I've seen worse," he said. "A lot worse." That night at home, Jaden sat at his small desk. He looked at a photo on the wall, a picture of him and his older brother, both smiling, wearing matching basketball jerseys. He touched the photo gently, then opened his notebook, and started writing again. The words on the page read, "They only know how to hurt what they don't understand." He paused, then added, "But I do, and I remember everything." The next day, something strange happened. Tyler was walking to his locker when he found a note inside it, a small piece of paper with neat handwriting. It said, "Be careful who you push. Some people don't break, they rise." Tyler looked around quickly. No one was near him. He crumpled the note and threw it away. But for the first time, he felt a chill. Later that day, another note appeared in his gym bag. "You think you're strong because people laugh with you. What will you do when they stop?" Tyler grew angry. He shouted at his friends, but they swore they didn't write it. He blamed Jaden, but there was no proof. Jaden was always calm, always quiet. Still, Tyler couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. After school, a teacher named Mr. Lewis called Tyler into his office. "I've been hearing some things," Mr. Lewis said. "You've been bothering the new kid." Tyler rolled his eyes. "I haven't touched him." "Doesn't matter," Mr. Lewis said. "Words can do damage, too." Then the teacher leaned in and said something that made Tyler freeze. "I've seen someone like Jaden before. The last time the Bullies didn't end well." Tyler laughed nervously. "What do you mean?" Mr. Lewis didn't answer. He just looked Tyler in the eyes and said, "Be careful." Back in class, Jaden sat at his desk, still drawing. This time he was sketching something that looked like a burning tree with roots shaped like hands reaching up. Mia watched him from her seat across the room. "Who are you?" she whispered to herself, because the more she watched Jaden, the more she felt this boy was not what he seemed, and she wasn't the only one who was starting to feel that. The morning bell rang, and students rushed into the science class. Everyone was talking, laughing, and moving around. Everyone except Jaden. He was already sitting at his desk, silent, flipping through the pages of his notebook. His face looked calm, like always. But today, something was different. His eyes were sharper. His hands moved faster over the paper. He was drawing again, but not just for fun. It looked like a plan. "Class, listen up." The teacher, Mr. Collins, called out. "You'll be working on a group project this week, a science experiment. I'll be assigning your groups." Groans filled the room. No one liked group projects. Mr. Collins began reading names. When he said, "Tyler and Jaden, you're in group 4. The room went silent. Tyler turned in his seat sharply. "What? Him?" Mr. Collins didn't blink. "Yes, him." Tyler sighed loudly and slumped in his chair. Jaden didn't react. He quietly looked up, gave a small nod, and then went back to his notebook. After class, Tyler caught up to Jaden near the stairs. "Listen, I'm not doing all the work," Tyler said sharply. Jaden looked at him and said quietly, "I already started the project. You can add your name if you want?" Tyler was confused. "You did it? Already?" Jaden nodded. "Check your email." Tyler pulled out his phone. His jaw tightened. Jaden had sent him a full experiment report. Clean, correct, and better than anything Tyler had ever turned in. "Why did you even do this?" Tyler asked, sounding annoyed. Jaden looked at him calmly. "Because I don't care about credit. I care about getting things done." For a moment, Tyler had no words. It felt like Jaden had just told him without saying it directly, "I don't need you." Later that day in the school computer lab, something strange happened. A student found a video on a local school blog. It was old. The quality was bad. But the title caught everyone's eye. Jaden Brown, The Brother's Promise. Students gathered around the screen, curious. They clicked play. In the video, a younger Jaden stood beside an older boy, his brother. Both were wearing basketball uniforms. They were in a small gym. The older brother spoke first. "This is my little brother, Jaden. He's quiet now, but one day, he's gonna do something big. He's going to protect people the way I couldn't." Then the screen showed clips. Jaden training, reading books, helping younger kids in the gym. At the end, the older brother looked at the camera again and said, "If anything happens to me, he'll finish what I started." The video ended with a black screen. The room was silent. No one knew where the video came from. It had no comments, no likes. It just appeared. By the end of the day, everyone was whispering about Jaden again. But this time it wasn't jokes or insults. "Did you see that video? He has an older brother?" What did he mean by "finish what I started"? Even Tyler had seen it. He was walking through the hall, deep in thought. He didn't want to admit it, but something about that video had shaken him. The way Jaden moved, the look in his brother's eyes, it all felt serious, real, like Jaden was carrying a secret. That evening, Mia searched for the video again, but when she opened the blog, it was gone, completely removed. She blinked in confusion. "What, it was just here?" She tried asking other students, but everyone said the same thing. The link was broken now. It was like the video had never existed. Mia had a strange feeling in her chest. She went back to her room, sat at her desk, and opened her school notebook. She wrote one sentence at the top of a new page. "Jaden isn't just here to study. He's here for something bigger. The next morning, Jaden sat in the library alone. His notebook was open. This time he wasn't drawing. He was writing something. When people look at you and only see your skin, show them the strength underneath. Don't raise your voice. Raise your story. He paused and closed the notebook. From behind the bookshelves, Mr. Lewis, the teacher who had warned Tyler earlier, was watching. He didn't say anything. He just smiled, shook his head slowly, and whispered to himself, "Just like his brother." The hallway, Tyler found another note in his locker. "What scares you more, being weak or people finding out you already are?" This time, he didn't throw it away. He kept it in his pocket and didn't say a word for the rest of the day. By the end of the week, Jaden's name was on everyone's lips. Some students respected him, some feared him, others still didn't understand him at all, but no one could ignore him anymore. Tyler felt the change in the air. His friends didn't laugh as much when he made jokes about Jaden now. Some even walked away. One of them had whispered, "That guy's not normal, bro. I don't know what it is, but he's different." Tyler didn't like that. For years, he was the one everyone followed, the one everyone feared. Now, a quiet new kid was taking that power away, without even trying. One afternoon, as gym class ended, Tyler waited outside the locker room. His eyes were locked on Jaden, who was walking alone toward the water fountain. This time, Tyler didn't shout. He didn't push. He just walked up and said in a calm, cold voice, "Let's settle this." Jaden looked at him, confused. "Settle what?" Tyler leaned in. "Everyone thinks you're something special, but I think you're just good at pretending, so let's find out." Jaden didn't speak. He waited. "A game, basketball. You and me," Tyler said. "One-on-one, this Friday, after school, at the old gym." Jaden finally spoke. "Why?" Tyler smiled. "Because I want to show everyone who you really are, not some quiet hero with a notebook, just another kid trying to act tough." Jaden paused, then nodded once. "Fine, word. Spread fast, Jaden versus Tyler. One-on-one, Friday after school." By lunchtime, it was the only thing people were talking about. Some were excited, some were worried, a few even laughed nervously. Mia didn't say anything, but deep down, she was scared. She had seen the video, she had seen the notes. She had watched Jaden for days now, calm, quiet, powerful in his silence. She knew he wasn't looking for a fight, but she also knew he wouldn't back down from one either. That night, Tyler trained hard. He stayed late at the gym, practicing, shot after shot. He pushed himself to the limit. Sweat poured down his face. His arms burned. His chest ached. But he didn't stop. "I'm gonna show them," he muttered. "I'm gonna win." He's just a boy with a notebook. But even as he practiced, something kept bothering him. He kept remembering those words from the note. Some people don't break. They rise. Friday arrived. After school, the crowd gathered in the old gym. Students filled the bleachers, buzzing with excitement and nerves. Some teachers even stood in the back, pretending not to watch. Jaden arrived last. He walked in slowly, wearing simple clothes and holding a basketball under one arm. No fear, no ego, just calm, steady steps. Tyler was already on the court, bouncing. "The ball hard. Let's go," he said. Jaden nodded. The game began. The first few minutes were fast. Tyler played rough. He pushed, blocked, and shouted. He scored the first few points and smirked as the crowd cheered. "Is that all you got?" he called out. Jaden said nothing. He just dribbled the ball, focused. Then something changed. Jaden moved faster, quicker, sharper. He stole the ball from Tyler with almost no effort, turned, and scored. The crowd gasped. Next round, same thing. Jaden ducked under Tyler's arm, spun, and made the basket again and again. Within minutes, the score was tied. Then Jaden pulled ahead. Tyler's smile disappeared. His face turned red. Sweat rolled down his temple. He tried harder, played tougher, but Jaden didn't even look angry. He looked peaceful, like the game was just a quiet storm around him, and he was the calm in the center. At one point, Tyler shoved Jaden hard. The crowd fell silent. Jaden dropped the ball and stood up slowly. He looked at Tyler, not with hate, but with something stronger, pity. Then he said, in a low voice only Tyler could hear, "You think I'm here to beat you? I'm not. I'm here to show you that strength isn't fear. It's control." Tyler stared at him, frozen. Jaden picked up the ball and walked to the edge of the court. He didn't take the final shot. He just handed the ball to Tyler. "I'm done," he said softly. "You win, if that's what you need." Then he walked out of the gym, silent as ever. The crowd didn't cheer. No one moved, because everyone knew. Tyler hadn't won. He had lost something much bigger than a game. Later that night, Mia found Jaden sitting on the steps outside school, watching the stars. "You could have destroyed him," she said. Jaden smiled faintly. "That's not why I came here." "Then why did you come?" she asked. Jaden looked up at the sky. His voice was quiet, to keep a promise. The next morning, the school was quiet. Not normal quiet, but heavy quiet. Students walked through, the halls whispering, but no one dared to say anything out loud. Everyone had seen what happened in the gym. They all saw how Jaden had played, fast, focused, calm, and how he walked away without needing to win. Tyler didn't come to school that day. He hadn't spoken to anyone after the game. He just left the gym alone, his head down, his heart full of something he couldn't name. Maybe shame, maybe confusion, maybe both. In the library, Jaden sat in his usual seat near the window. His notebook was open again, and he was writing slowly. His hand moved like he was choosing every word carefully. Mia stood nearby, pretending to look at a book, but really watching him. She couldn't take it anymore. She walked over and sat across from him. "You knew this would happen," she said, quietly. Jaden looked up, his face still calm. "I didn't come here to fight," he said. "But some fights find you anyway." Mia hesitated. "Why are you really here, Jaden?" He looked out the window for a moment. Then, for the first time, he told the truth. "My brother used to go to this school," Jaden said softly. 3 years ago, Mia blinked. "Your brother? From the video?" Jaden nodded. "His name was Jordan. He was everything I wasn't. Loud, strong, smiled all the time. Everyone loved him." He paused, breathing in slowly. "But one day he got into trouble here, with a group of kids who thought they were untouchable. They bullied him, worse than anything you've seen." Mia sat in silence. Her eyes widened slowly. He tried to speak up. Jaden continued. "But the school covered it up. The bullies were from important families, so they made it look like my brother was the problem." Jaden's voice cracked just a little. He couldn't take it anymore. He dropped out. 2 months later, he was gone. Mia's hand flew to her mouth. "Gone? You mean—" Jaden nodded again. "He took his own life." Tears welled up in Mia's eyes. She didn't know what to say. Jaden looked down at his notebook. "He left me a message," he whispered. "Not a long one, just a few lines. He said, 'Go where I fell, rise where I couldn't, and protect who I couldn't save.'" Jaden closed the notebook gently. "That's why I'm here." Outside the library, Mr. Lewis, the same teacher who had warned Tyler, was standing silently by the door. He had heard everything. He wiped his eyes quickly and walked away without a word. That evening, something unexpected happened. The school blog posted a new video. It was the same old clip from before, the one of Jordan and Jaden in the gym. But this time, it was followed by a second part. In the second part, Jordan was alone. He looked tired, but his eyes were full of love. "If you're watching, this little bro," he said, "you're probably stronger than I ever was. I know you feel angry. I know you want to fix everything. But remember, kindness is power too. Silence is strength. And sometimes, the loudest fight is the one you don't throw a punch in." The video ended with the words, "Live for both of us." The next morning, students watched the video in silence, even the bullies, even Tyler. At lunch, something happened that no one expected. Tyler walked up to Jaden's table. The entire cafeteria went quiet. Tyler stood there for a long second. His hands were shaking. "I don't expect you to forgive me," he said. Jaden looked up. He didn't say anything. But I wanted to say, I was wrong. About you. About everything. He pulled something from his backpack. It was a crumpled note. One of the ones he had found in his locker. He placed it on the table and said, "Thank you for not fighting me. Thank you for teaching me something I didn't even know I needed to learn." Then he walked away. Jaden sat there, staring at the note. Mia leaned closer. The note said, "True strength isn't in making people fear you. It's in making them feel safe." Jaden smiled, a small, soft smile, and for the first time since arriving, he finally felt like he belonged. The school felt different now. It wasn't loud anymore, not in the same way. The whispers had stopped. The laughs behind people's backs faded away. Even the hallways seemed quieter, more thoughtful. All because of one boy who refused to fight back with fists. Jaden didn't ask for attention. He never tried to lead anyone. But somehow, students started following him anyway. One day in class, a boy named Liam, usually quiet, always sitting in the back, stood up to answer a question for the first time. When the teacher asked him what had changed, Liam just smiled and pointed at Jaden. "He made me believe I could," Liam said. Jaden didn't even look up from his notebook. In the cafeteria, another student dropped their tray. The old version of this school would have laughed. But this time, 3 people helped clean it up. No one said anything mean. They just acted different, more human. In gym class, Tyler was no longer the loudest voice. He had started to sit beside new kids, help them practice, talk less, listen more. When someone asked him what happened, he just said, "I met someone who reminded me who I used to be, before I tried to be someone I'm not." Meanwhile, Jaden spent his days the same way, quiet, focused, always writing. But there was something new in his face now, a small peace, a quiet warmth. He had started drawing again, not the cold, careful plans from before. This time, his notebook was full of color, movement, and light. One afternoon, Mia sat beside him under a tree near the sports field. The sun was warm and the wind was soft. "You're really changing things," she said, watching a group of kids play. Jaden shook his head gently. "No, people always had that kindness inside them. I just reminded them it was okay to use it." Mia turned to him. "You think your brother would be proud?" Jaden didn't answer right away. Then, he looked up at the sky and whispered, "I think." He never stopped watching. That same day, the school principal called Jaden into her office. Jaden walked in quietly, notebook still in hand. Principal Reyes was sitting at her desk with a small file in front of her. She looked up and smiled kindly. "Jaden," she said, "you've been here for a few weeks now, and I think I speak for every teacher when I say you've made a real difference." Jaden stayed silent, unsure what to say. The principal opened the file and slid a piece of paper across the table. "This is a letter from Mr. Lewis. He says you're the reason he stayed in teaching, that you reminded him why he started." Jaden blinked slowly. The principal leaned forward. "We want to offer you something, a chance to lead a new student program, a group for students who feel invisible, bullied, lost." Jaden was surprised. Me? Lead? She nodded. You don't have to talk much. Just be there. Be you. Jaden looked down at the letter. For a moment, he saw his brother's face. Again, smiling, proud, full of light. He nodded slowly. I'll do it. 1 week later, the first meeting of the Quiet Voices Club began in the school library. Only 5 students came. Jaden didn't give a speech. He didn't stand at the front. He just sat in a circle with the others and said one line. Tell me something about yourself that no one else knows. At first, no one spoke. Then Mia raised her hand. I get scared every time I walk into a room, she said, but I hide it. Another boy spoke. I cry at night because my dad left, but I pretend I don't care. A girl added quietly, I hate how I look, every day. Each voice was shaky, soft, but real. Jaden listened to every word. No judgment, just calm understanding. He never spoke again that day, but when the meeting ended, everyone walked out, standing a little taller. That night, Jaden added something new to the last page of his notebook. You don't need to speak loudly to be heard. You don't need to fight to win. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is listen. He closed the notebook and smiled. In the shadows outside, someone had been watching him the whole time. A boy with dark eyes, the same one who had bullied Jordan, Jaden's brother, years ago. He was older now, a student teacher. No one knew his past. But when he saw Jaden, he froze, because he knew who Jaden was, and he knew what was coming. The school was quiet as the sun began to set. The halls were almost empty, the lights dim. But Jaden stayed behind in the library. He sat at the same table, his notebook open, his pencil moving slowly. He was drawing again, not people, not places, but moments. A hand reaching out, a voice speaking up, a heart learning how to heal. He didn't know someone was watching him. From the doorway, a man stood in silence. Mr. Carter, the new student teacher. Most students didn't notice him much. He stayed in the background, grading papers, helping with books. But when Jaden arrived weeks ago, Carter had recognized the name, the face, the quiet fire in his eyes, because years ago, he had been the leader of the group that broke Jordan. That day in the gym, that cruel prank, that final humiliation, it had been Carter's idea. He was just a teenager then, angry, lost, full of ego. But now he was older, and when he saw Jaden, he knew the past had returned. That evening, Mr. Carter finally stepped inside. Jaden looked up. Their eyes locked. For a moment, no words were spoken. Just heavy silence. Then Carter said in a voice filled with guilt, "You're Jordan's brother." Jaden didn't answer. He didn't need to. Carter sat down across from him. "I thought time would erase what I did," he said. "But it didn't. I see your brother's face every time I look in the mirror." Jaden stayed quiet, watching him. "I came back to this school hoping to give something good," Carter continued. "To fix something, I don't know. Maybe to punish myself." Jaden slowly closed his notebook. "You were the reason he left school," he said quietly. "The reason he stopped smiling." Carter nodded. "I know, and I'm sorry. More than words can say." Jaden leaned forward slightly. "You didn't just hurt him. You took him from me." Carter's voice broke. "I was a coward. I followed the crowd. I laughed while someone else cried. I thought it made me strong, but now I know it made me weak." Jaden looked at him, his heart pounding. This was the man, the face behind the pain, and now he had a choice. He could call him out in front of the school, expose him, ruin him. He had the truth. He had the power. But then he remembered his brother's last words. Sometimes, the loudest fight is the one you don't throw a punch in. Jaden stood up. He walked over to Carter, standing just inches away. Then he pulled out a folded paper, an old letter, Jordan's handwriting. He handed it to Carter. "You said you wanted to fix something," Jaden said. "Start here." Carter took the paper with trembling hands and read it. It was Jordan's final message, the one Jaden had carried all these years. "If you're reading this, maybe you hurt me. Maybe you watched, but you can still choose who you want to be. Let my ending be your beginning. Do better. Be better." Carter couldn't speak. Tears streamed down his face. Jaden turned and walked away. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. A week later, Mr. Carter stood in front of the school assembly. With the principal's permission, he told the truth about what he had done, who he had been, and the pain he had caused. He didn't excuse.